What's up, everyone? Welcome back again for the final points. Your host, Dom Cintorino, joined by Matt Gannon again, just going over the final look at the DraftKings board from a DFS perspective. What's going on, Matt? Ready to go?
What's up? Another week. Yeah, happy to be here. I know it's not the most fun week, but it is kind of fun because it's different and we get to talk about golf, so I can't complain.
Exactly. Like I said last night, I mean, if people are offering contests, if they're throwing DFS contents or contests and bets out there, I mean, why not jump in? So, either way, if you're new to this type of format or new to PGA DFS in general, you'll notice that like DraftKings looks a little bit different. The betting board looks a little bit different. It's a team event, so they basically get to pick their teammate, and the first two rounds are a best ball. So whoever gets the best score, go with that. The Friday and Sunday, or I said first two. Thursday and Saturday are best ball. Friday, Sunday, alternate shot. Someone hits the first, other guy hits the second, vice versa. But one nice thing is that we did have stroke play event at this same course. It had the same tournament name. They just changed it. This is the fifth year doing the team format, but it's nice to have some of that strokes gain data. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I like that's the case, but this, at least for me, is not a week where I'm going crazy with the stats. I'm more like, look at your guys, a little bit more narrative based, a little bit more fun, because there's so much randomness and stuff that has to go right with, like, because I feel like stats aren't a good way to handicap it this week. But I'll go over my model and guys that rated out well for me, but I'm more like, see who I like. I think these two guys want to be here, and these guys could play well together. So that's how I went about it this week.
Yeah. You still have to have a model. You still have to see who's in good form, who's not. But at the same time, it's like, do they flow together? Have they had success in this type of event in the past? Like, that's what I'm looking at more than anything. I mean, even with the strokes gain data from 2015, 16 and years before that, it's hard to create a model because if one guy's approach is on and the other guy's putting well, sometimes it just doesn't click. And then at that point, you're just out of luck. So who's played together, who's had success here in the past. That's mainly what I'm looking for is form and course history over the past 4 years when it was a team event.
Yeah, you don't got to get too crazy with it. Sometimes it's simpler than you think, and you got to go with your gut sometimes. And I think this is a good week for that style.
Yep. So last year's winners were Mark Leishman and Cam Smith, who won at 20 under. They're going to be paired up again this year. Year before that, or 2 years before that, because COVID canceled one of them, which I don't think upset too many people. Back in 2020, but 2019, Ryan Palmer and John Rahm. 2018 was Billy Horschel and Scott Piercy. And then 2017 was Cam Smith again and Jonas Blixt. So different types of winners. You see like lower tier pairings make their way towards the top of the leaderboard, like pushing out a top 10. So like we said, there's a lot of variance here. You can have a crazy lineup. You don't need to spend all your DFS money by any means. I mean, if you like somebody and you leave $500 on the table, this is the week to do it. This is the week to take down a tournament, even if you don't feel good about your lineup, because I mean, there were a couple pairs that I felt good about last year that didn't end up making their way towards the top. So it's like, who was I don't know. Did you get a chance to look at DraftKings pricing from last year at all?
I looked at the odds board rather than the DraftKings pricing.
So I got a hold of one site that had the DraftKings pricing, and Xander and Cantlay were 11-7. Cam Smith and Leishman were 11. So
Xander and Cantlay, what did they finish, like 11th last year, something like that?
They were, I think they were higher than that.
And they on Friday, I remember them having a horrible alt shot. Yep. They had like a horrible alternate shot, and they still like battled their way back. So I don't expect them to do that this one, but it's weird to see them struggle a little bit because that's like they were obviously the highest priced team for a reason.
Yeah, and then one of the funnier prices I saw was, where's it at? Morikawa and Wolf were 11-3.
So that's basically Morikawa and the 10 handicap.
Yeah, I know. It is. And just looking at the pricing comparing that to this year, though, they made it a lot softer and they made it a lot easier. So I don't know why it changed that much, or who knows, maybe I didn't have accurate pricing from the site I saw, but it looked, and it did ring a bell too, that some of these guys were 11. I thought the pricing looked a little weird.
Well, yeah, no, that makes sense based on like what I saw on the odds board, because I mean, at times, like people love to bet Matt Wolff when he's playing decent. He's so popular. Like before, like I remember at the Masters, like people were betting him at like 40-1, like during the fall, like when he had that good run at the Shriners. They're like, all right, Matt Wolff 40-1, bet it now. It's gonna be 20-1 come Masters, and like you could get a 300, and he was one of the worst guys there. So
Yeah,
I know when he's on his stuff, people like to bet him.
Yeah, exactly. A couple guys leaderboard last year. I talked about a little bit in the point spread last night, but seeing like Uline and Werenski take third last year was eye opening. Tom Lewis and Peters pushed their way inside the top 10. So it's like, I know
Tom Lewis.
Uline,
Wow.
yeah,
what's he up to?
Does not. I believe he's just strictly Corn Ferry. He could have went back to Euro a little bit. When I first started like playing him was when he was a European tour guy, and he'd come over here for like 5 to 8 events a year.
Remember when he had that little run last year during the Detroit week, and then like for that like 5-week stretch, he was like on the top 5 every week, but just never got it done because he needed a win to like get his card or something, and he was so close.
Yeah, he was. Well. He could make it back. Well, we'll talk about another guy who's going to get his card back that I might be playing, but ready to jump into the 10Ks?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. So Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa lead the way at 10-7. Cantlay and Xander are 10-4. Cam Smith and Leishman are 10-2. And it's rounded out by Burns and Horschel at 10K flat. So pretty small group, especially considering how many guys we mentioned were 11K or higher last year. Betting wise, I'm not going to get there with these guys. I don't think. I'm not willing to lay the 8 to 12-1 or whatever you're going to get for a majority of the guys on this graphic here. But from a DraftKings perspective, I think you need to start here. And I think a majority of people are going to.
Right. And there's I see from a betting standpoint, everyone's going to Beho and Burns, including myself, but they weirdly play good together, and I think it's a good play. But besides them, the other 3 guys, they're all valid. The team that's scary, honestly, is the highest priced team because they could easily have a day where they're just horrible on the greens, and like this isn't a team where the other guy can back him up with the putter. Like they're either both awesome or both not awesome. So that's the team that's a little bit scary.
Yeah, I'm almost more scared of Cantlay and Xander, and maybe it's a personal bias thing, but just like since we've started this fantasy points thing, I've said it every week. Cantlay's approach has just scared me off a little bit this year, mainly as of late. Yeah, he has, but Xander's form also isn't the best. So if I'm going to lay the $10,400, I would rather see a little bit better form, I guess. Obviously, all 8 guys on this screen are elite, so it's hard to really make a case against some of these guys. But I think I'm going to start a lot of my lineups with Morikawa and Hovland. You get 2 of the top 5 players in the world matched up together, getting to play this event. I think their floor is a top 5. They both got experience at this event last year, but had below average partners. We talked a little bit ago.
Right.
Matt Wolff was with Morikawa. Hovland was with Christopher Ventura, his Oklahoma State teammate, both from Norway. They finished T25, but I remember that event. It was like Hovland and Ventura were just running away with it. They were the first round leaders, shooting a 62, which if I looked at the scorecard, I would guess Hovland did a majority of that.
No, weirdly enough, it was Ventura. I promise you, I bet him last year. You know how obviously Hovland has horrible chipping. Them 2 together put on the worst chipping display I have ever seen, like collectively as a team. And Ventura went lights out. That was the best I've seen him play. Like he had one other week, I think it was a few weeks before that, where he popped up. But I bet them because obviously Victor's Victor and Ventura was a little bit popping. So I bet them Victor was horrible and Ventura was awesome. It was very weird. And they obviously didn't win, but they had that one when they played. They came crazy. Yeah, that was awesome. But Hovland was just had one of his worst chipping weeks like of his career. And like, I know they won't show in the stats, but it was bad, like from a visual standpoint and like the shot tracker. I was like, what are you doing, Victor? Like I could do better than you right now. Yeah, that was weird.
An opening 62 though just set the tone for the weekend. Then they followed it with a 69, 68, and then a 78 on Sunday, which was I think the 6th worst score of the day. So that just plummeted them down to a T25. I mean, if they shot even par, they were probably locked into a top 10 finish. But
Yeah.
just
By
seeing,
Sunday, Ventura fell off. So
yeah,
it was,
which is expected.
Right.
I mean, he didn't come in the best form. He had shown a lot like in the fall. I liked Ventura a lot. Like I thought he was going to stick around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Obviously lost his tour card. Haven't seen him in quite a while. But having Hoblin matched up with Morikawa was just pretty interesting to me. Down to Leishman and Cam Smith. Hard to make the case against them just based off of what Cam Smith has showed us.
Yeah.
Leishman, I don't love where he's at, but I'll have a sprinkle of those guys. I like Burns and Horschel the second most out of this. What do you like about Burns and Horschel so much this week?
Well, I remember last year when Billy Horschel posted that weird Twitter post of the Outkast album cover, and I don't know if you saw it, but he posted the Outkast album cover with him and Burns as the doing the same thing that they were doing, and it was like everyone was like, "What is this? Like, why are you posting this? And like, how are you guys even friends?" So I was like, "I'm not betting you guys at all." They went crazy. They looked awesome, and I was like, from now on, I'm betting them at every team event. I bet them at the QBE when they were like plus 300, but I got it like live at like plus 1,000. If it wasn't for Kokrak and Na going absolutely berserk on Sunday, they would have won that. So I'm just going with my gut. I'm going back with Billy Horschel and Sam Burns. I love Sam Burns as a player, obviously. LSU connection, got the Louisiana Connect. Billy Horschel, no, I don't like Billy Horschel. I'm not a fan of Billy Horschel, but hopefully he'll help me make money this week. And yeah, I'm not getting too crazy with the stats. These guys are trending pretty good together, and the strokes gained total statistics, they're up at the top of the leaderboard in that. But it's more of a gut play. It's more of a gut feel. I know they're super popular at the top from a betting standpoint, but I'm not sure if you saw my tweet today. I tweeted out my lineups. They're going to be in like 90% of my lineups. I'm going to start them with all of them and just hope for the best.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think when you get two guys that have that winning pedigree, at least playing together and have played together before, like I said, that's what I'm weighing almost more than anything is have these guys played together before, and they've done it with success. So why not? And you're also getting like two solid putters is the other thing. Like in an alternate shot, when someone gets on the green, say it's a green in regulation, the next guy has a great chance of making the putt. Like you feel confident
100%.
in them standing over that punt. Whereas some of these other teams, it's like you see a guy who's good at putting and their partner who's bad. So they can get put in bad spots and lead to some 3 putts or whatever. But you're going to have to make some putts at this event. And the previous winners have kind of showed that and had that type of game.
Yeah, and it's Bermuda. Obviously, Sam Burns is elite on Bermuda. And I'd honestly say Billy Horschel may be in a little bit better of a ball striking form than he was last year. I know he had that match play win, but he wasn't crushing greens when he was winning the match play. He went crazy scrambling. And I know it's kind of tailing off a little bit. We talked about how Billy Horschel is elite in Florida, and we're kind of getting away from that. But I would say it's like a little bit better of a ball striking form, and that's going to set up him and Burns well. So that's another reason I really like them. So I am scared of also Cam and Leishman, because if there's a team that can make one putt in every hole, it's that team. Like they could just go so lights out with the putter. And Cam, I think he lacked a little motivation last week following the Masters. I think he wanted to have a nice Hilton Head fishing weekend and go for it. Cam Smith, you're a Players Champion, do whatever you want. But he's back. He wants to probably defend. But I think out of this group, a team that's not messing around and wants to play the most, Billy Horschel wants to win this thing. Billy Horschel wants to win this weird event, and he's not here. He's not going to be in the casinos and doing stuff like that. So I think Billy Horschel is really putting out to win this event.
And he's been playing well too. I mean,
you liked him at the Masters.
Loved him, yeah. And I mean, made the cut when he probably shouldn't have. Gave me a couple extra bonus points. Wasn't the best finish in the world, but Horschel's solid. Like we said, especially in this type of event. So 9K range. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Palmer and Scotty Scheffler, 9.7, followed by Lowry and Poulter, Fleetwood and Garcia, Neiman and Pereira, Gooch and Homa, and rounded out by Varner and Watson. So another very interesting group of guys where if you wanted to fade the 10K range, which I'm not going to very much, but if you wanted to jam 3 of these teams in there and see what you could do with the rest of it, I don't hate it because all of these teams offer a good amount of upside when it comes to an event like this. I probably lean more Poulter and Lowry based off of my love for Lowry over the past month, 2 months, however long it's been. He's just on fire week in and week out. It has to be the most he's ever played because his schedule used to be very thin. A guy that was primarily a European Tour guy, got a couple wins, got his card, and never really went back. But he was a guy who was only playing like 20 events, and seems like for whatever reason this year he's flipped a switch. He's having a lot of success. He's making a lot of money, so why not keep going after it? Palmer and Scheffler are interesting to me. Obviously, everyone's seen the official world golf rank of Palmer's partners. Scotty, #1 golfer in the world. Palmer has had success at this event. Maybe it's because of his partners. Maybe it's because he's got some type of strategy. But at the same time, the way Scotty has been making birdies and dropping some of these putts, it's like he can definitely carry Palmer to a win.
Oh, yeah. And it's – I know you just said the world golf ranking thing. He's had the #1 player in like 3-4 teams. And I don't know if he's the greatest recruiter of all time or if he is, I think he's a Texas guy. University of Texas needs to hire him and figure out how to get some better football recruits because Ryan Palmer might just be the greatest recruiter because he finds these #1 players every single year. And it's like it doesn't make sense. Like how? But they're going to be an awesome team. We don't even have to talk about Scotty because he's just firing on all cylinders. There's no way to say he shouldn't do well here. So, yeah, if you want to play Ryan Palmer and Scotty Scheffler, be my guest. They will be in a lineup or two for me as a pivot. They're one of my key pivots, but yeah, they do make sense. And Lowry and Poulter modeled out sneakily well for me, which I'm happy about. And their games complement each other. Lowry's crushing it on approach. Ian Poulter obviously is one of the greatest putters ever. It's not they really do make sense. They're both accurate drivers of the golf ball, and they were going to be my first pivot as an outright bet, but I ended up going somewhere else. But I really do like them, and I was this close to betting them outright.
Speaking of Ryan Palmer being a great recruiter, he's got to be the second best recruiter. I got my Cordero Patterson merch on.
Okay.
He just threw out a tweet trying to get Deebo Samuel the last 2-3 free agencies. He's doing that, so I just had to piggyback you off that one. But
we'll see.
How do you feel about Team Chile at 9.2?
I love them. I love their vibe. I love Waco. I love Mito. I'm not gonna bet them, and I really do. I literally love these guys. I wish I was friends with these guys. Joaquin Niemann's my age. I think he's a stud. I love his game, and Mito wins around the corner hopefully. And if he does it with his best friend from home, that would be awesome. I really do think they'll perform well. Niemann is turned his game up to a different level this season, crushing the tee to green, and he's figured out the putter. I know it's not his best surface, but he putted decent last week, and he had a decent showing last week. So I think this team is due for could turn some heads and get Team Chile on the map for the regular viewer who's not too familiar with them. I think they're going to be well. I also. They're not my guys in this range, but I definitely pivoted on them in a few lineups.
Yeah, that picture I tweeted out of them as kids, I could just see that being in the broadcast on Sunday, when they're up there. I could just could picture it now. But it's a strong team from top to bottom. What Mito's done since he got his PGA Tour card last June or July, I think it was June, but he has been statistically awesome, top to bottom for the most part. This season in specific, both are in the top 10 in this field in tee to green, both top 20 on approach and both top 15 when it comes to ball striking. So putting that together, putts are going to drop if they're striking the ball well, whether it be alternate shot, whether it be best ball. I think they're in a really good spot. Mito's game heading in, he's been let down by the putter. That's nothing really new. Like you said, not great on Bermuda greens, but I mean, if they're able to putt this week, I don't think anyone's stopping them.
Yeah, I really like this team a lot. I just strictly couldn't fit him in my betting card because I liked other guys better, which is the next team. And I tweeted out early this week my initial leans, or I tweeted out maybe Sunday night my initial leans, and all Twitter felt the same way, and I'm not surprised by that. It's just a very one-off event, and you're gonna go towards the popular guys. And I usually am very quick to zag off of someone, but I was like, screw it. If I tweet out something and it hits, I'll be pissed that I wasn't a part of it. So I went with Gooch and Homa. They're my highest owned from this range, and I just think this team is so safe. Like I feel like they're a super locked top 20. Like these two golfers are both like they both have complete games, and I feel like they could piggyback each. Like I feel like this is the team that like won't make any bogeys like at all. They're just going to maybe not. They might not shoot the lowest score, but they're going to be like so safe to like play solid golf. And if putts are dropping, they're really dangerous. They actually rated out fifth in my model, which I was surprised, but like pleasantly surprised by because it was more of a ball striking model. So I really think this team has a decently high ceiling with also a high floor.
Yeah, I agree. Taylor Gooch, looking at his season stats specifically, he's been awesome. And in my model, he ranked inside the top 5 in this field. All of the approach buckets that I was looking at, some of the par 3 ranges, par 5 ranges, whatever you want to look at, Taylor Gooch was popping in just about every single one. Pairing him with Max Homa, who is a little bit more prolific and has had better luck on tour. You get to pair these two guys together who are in their mid-20s. It's like, I love it, and it's a very fair price.
Yeah, they're about even money for a top 20. I think that might be worth a little bit.
Yeah, I will have to look into that. Yeah, given their price, I mean, they're like looking down the board further, you don't see another team that's that solid
all around.
Yeah. You get one stud, quote unquote, and then another guy. But yeah, that's a pretty good value.
I don't really bet placements ever besides my card, and then I back it up with a top 5. But I might have to dabble on some of that top 20. So we'll see how that ends.
Yeah, Varner and Watson round out the range. I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot just based off of the price. Obviously, like where Varner's game has been at in 2022. Both guys who can hit it long off the tee. It's just like, I don't know how well they're going to click in this thing.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have the history up in front of me, but
Varner has 2 missed cuts here.
Okay.
And Bubba has better history.
At the
team event.
Okay. I think
he's had worse partners though.
Had a decent finish in 16. I could be wrong. Yeah, T8 in 2016 when this was stroke play. So, I mean, it's 2016, so I'm not going to wait too much on that. But Bubba 15 and 18 when I was in high school. So, again, not going to look too deep into that. But it's worth looking at guys who have played here a number of times based off of like teams of younger guys or people who haven't done the team event before. So, ready to move on to the 8s?
Yeah, I feel like Bubba is like a hard teammate to play with because the way he plays golf is unlike anyone in the world. But I know like Harold Varner wouldn't play with him if he didn't think he could succeed with him. That's just like a weird thing to look at and just kind of makes me a little bit nervy for them.
Yeah. So on to the 8K range. Not going to read off all of them. Busy board, obviously. Riley and Zalatoris are interesting to me. Just based off of Zalatoris, I still like Davis Riley. I liked him heading into this year. He's shown us a little bit, not where I thought he would be, but it's an interesting group of younger guys on tour who have a history together. So obviously have played together a number of times, should be able to feed off of each other. Zalatoris clearly rates out very well in terms of the field, but being the lack of elite talent, you would kind of assume that from a statistical perspective anyways. Hatton and Willett, saw Willett kind of pop at the Masters early. Hatton on and off. It's hard to kind of get what they're doing. Are you on either of those two teams at 8.8K?
I am on both of those teams actually, and they are my only 2 teams I am on in this range and majority of my lineups. I love I'm number 1 Will Zalatoris fan. Love him. I don't got to tell you about his game. You know how good of a ball striker he is, and obviously struggles with the medium to short range putts. And by no means is Davis Riley a prolific putter, but anytime I'm getting another guy to maybe roll a few more in for him, 1 or 2 more is a bonus. Like Will Zalatoris can get to minus 15 on this course alone. You get maybe a few more putts from Davis Riley. I think that's going to help them and maybe boost them. Riley is in, like you said, okay form. Popped at the Valspar, Bermuda Greens. Hopefully, it's good vibes. These guys are friends, Texas guys. So hopefully, it's a more of a narrative vibes play, and they are here to win, get their first win. Cam Smith got his first win here as a with a teammate.
Yep.
So maybe these guys can do it too.
Yeah, and just looking at the last 12 rounds alone, they both rank inside the top 30 in birdies or better. So it's like if one of the two are giving each other a chance, they can go low, like you said Ventura and Hovland did last year. It's if two guys are clicking and they're birdieing every other, you can go absolutely nuts in these best ball rounds. So
take some pressure. Maybe Davis Riley have some pressure off of him, knowing he's playing with a friend, knowing he's playing with a great golfer. He doesn't have to hit every shot perfect to win a tournament. So I think it's going to be good for both of these guys. And then I'll touch on Hatton and Willett real quick. Obviously, these guys are both from the same country, friends for a long time. I think these guys are really here to win this event. These guys don't really mess around on the golf course. These guys are hard, and they want to golf their ball and win a tournament. And these guys both have pretty complete games. I know Danny Willett might struggle a little bit, but Danny Willett can help in the short game aspects of things. And Tyrrell Hatton, if he's on approach, he's a top 3 iron player in the world when he's at his best. So I think these guys can light it up. I got him at 41 to 1. So I think it's going to be awesome for them.
Good number, I would say, honestly. I like that.
Couldn't
41 to 1. I'm probably have the highest exposure in this range to Benon and Sungjae Im.
Love it. I love it.
I tweeted last week when I was on the plane headed to Vegas that I can't wait until Benon is back on the PGA Tour. And I don't know if that was me just getting lucky and getting Benon into the very next event, but Sungjae pulled him in. Obviously doesn't have his PGA Tour card, but Benon has been awesome on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Yeah, second place last week, right?
Second last week. He had a win at the Lecom Suncoast Classic, had a T21 and a T12 in between that, but he's made 4 of his last 5 cuts over there, playing consistent golf. They did miss the cut a year ago. On was in pretty bad form, which eventually led to him losing his PGA Tour card. That's why he has to work his way back. He's number 2 in the 25 on the Korn Ferry Tour right now. So though it's not a lock because it's April, he's only a couple probably top 20s, top 10s away from locking a spot in that top 25 just based off of a win and a second place finish. So most importantly,
he almost won this event, right?
He did. He had a T2 back in 2016 when this was a stroke play event. So, I mean, being able to do it by yourself, now you get to have Sungjae Im, who's also in pretty good form, together at $8,700. I think it's a pretty good price. I just think it's really interesting with what Benon's doing on the Korn Ferry Tour. You don't get a whole lot in terms of stats over there, but he's 5th in birdie average. I think he leads the field in scrambling, and he's 10th in ball striking. So, I mean, the Korn Ferry Tour is no joke. There's decent players. A lot of PGA Tour rookies who can't get into PGA events are going back down and playing some of these. So, competition's there. I like it at $80 or $8,700. Ownership, I haven't really been looking at ownership.
I wouldn't get too deep into it.
Throw that out the window. But outside of that, in this range, you got anyone else in the mid 8s or low 8s?
I really liked Team GMAC and Power. Power sneakily has 2 top 10s at this event in the last 3 years, and GMAC is playing some better golf. He's 21st last week at RBC. I talked about him last week, and he paid off well. So I think these guys are. I think GMAC had an ace at this tournament last year. So these guys are here, good vibes. They both have had success here, and I think they could do well. But the price is a little bit too much for me, based on like their pedigree. So maybe it's priced that way for a reason. But I was close to betting them outright. I did play them in DFS in a few lineups.
Yeah, The price is a little weird. I think it might just be like the power history, like you said. But yeah, seeing GMAC in the first round last week, when you called that, I was like, here we go. It's GMAC week, and still a great week altogether given his price tag. Can't really complain.
The weather got him on Friday. The weather
Yeah.
was he went like 66, 72, 66, and like 67, something like that.
Yeah. Outside of that, I talked myself into the guys at 8,200, Matt.
Wow.
Justin Rose, Henrik Stenson.
Sell me.
So it didn't really come to me until today, but a lot of experience at a very reasonable price, considering the teams around them. I know many people have been hesitant to jump on because of Stenson, I would assume, but heading into last year, he had made 2 of 8 cuts worldwide and slowly started his decline. Now we're seeing him turn the corner a bit, and even though he went into last year's event in bad form, they still finished T11. 2019, they did not play together. Stenson played with McDowell. They finished T18. Year before that, though, 2018, they finished T19. So they've played together twice in the last 3 times and have a T19 and a T11. Missed the cut on the number in 2017. But the thing that stuck out to me is the way that they've scored on the alternate shot, especially last year. 68 on Friday, which was first round leader the round leader for the second round alternate shot, obviously. But alternate shot on Sunday, they shot a 70, which was tied for the sixth best score, show a 68 and a 70. And even in 2018, they shot a 71 and a 73 in the alternate shot round. So if you can stay around even par on the alternate shot rounds, you're going to be able to stay afloat.
Yeah. Well, remember last week, you and I talked ourselves into Spieth. And now that you said that, looking at Stenson's numbers, 3 straight weeks gaining on approach with 3 and 4, which is awesome for him. And he's just doing horribly on the greens. Justin Rose is not going to putt horribly. So I think that's a good tandem. If Stenson's hitting the ball that good, and we know he's not that bad of a putter.
Right.
Hopefully he'll figure it out. But, I mean, he's got Justin Rose as a boost, who's obviously a great putter. So that'd be awesome. I'm going to definitely sprinkle them in a lineup now that you said that. At what, 82? 82. Yeah. All right, I can make that work.
Hang on. I just want to make sure. Yeah. 81. Sorry. Graphics off. $8,100. Even better.
Perfect.
Even a better deal.
I will make that switch.
But the thing is, like I said, at the top of the show, having experience and playing with a certain partner for X amount of years goes a long way, especially when Stenson is slowly turning his game back around. I mentioned last week when I was trying to sell Stenson, like he was 330 or 320 something in the world. It was the lowest he's been since like the 2000s. So, like you said, showing a little bit more when it comes to approach. Justin Rose here in the stroke play event from 2012 on, I'll read off his finishes: T10, T15, T8, a win, and then he missed the cut in 2016. So 4 straight events with a T15 or better, a win, and 2 top 10s.
Yeah, so I have one lineup with the Laird team in there, and I'm actually actively switching that out to Rhodes and Stenson. So I'll get my liability there. Hopefully, because I was just pivoting off of someone, so I put in Laird and Mac, but I think I like your Rose and Stenson case.
Yeah, and our staff picks, I had them as my matchup and my, I want to say, long shot, because they do have decent odds, and I think they're 80.
Okay, yeah, that checks out. Yeah, so, I like that. I like where your head's at with that. I'll take some with you.
How do you feel on Team Canada? Because it seems like a lot of people are on them, and I can't really argue against it based off of what Hadwin's been showing us.
Hadwin's got a complete game. Svensson will fire at every single flag, no matter where he's at. And if he has Hadwin to make those 4-footers, there might be in business, because Svensson will not make the 4-footers. Yeah, they definitely have a complementary game. Hadwin being more conservative, Svensson being more go for everything. And if that could either go really, really good or really, really bad. And I think it's a good ceiling bet. I wouldn't take him in any placement. I wouldn't go too crazy with them in DraftKings. Maybe a little outright T10 action, but besides that, I'm not going to be playing them in DraftKings because I don't think they are the safest team. But I think they have a decent ceiling.
Yeah, I like their price, so I'll probably have a
Yeah.
sprinkle just because, like I said, the way Hadwin's been playing is unbelievable. Maybe he can carry the two best ball rounds, and I mean, if they finish top 15, top 20, so be it. $8,000 definitely doesn't kill you this week, so I'll probably have a sprinkle, nothing more than that.
Yeah, I like that.
Jumping down to the 7K range, pretty busy range. The rest of the way is pretty busy, but
Yeah.
7K wise, McNeely and Bramlett have really stuck out to me at $7,700. Had them on my chalkboard sheet on the betting show last night. I think they're 75-1, but played together last year, missed the cut on the number. Different Maverick McNeely that we're seeing. Top 70 golfer in the world, comes into the event in good form. He hasn't missed a cut since October. Seems like every time we do a show, we kind of mention that, and he just keeps making cuts. But McNeely's making birdies at a very high clip. The Valero event is one that I keep bringing up on this show. He finished T35, was fourth in birdie or better percentage, which is what you want here. If you're making birdies, hopefully your other guy is making the pars when you're struggling. I hope Bramlett is the one hitting the approaches close and Maverick can drop the putts, because the only thing that really scares me is Bramlett's putter.
Yeah, well, Bramlett is off of a 65 in round 4 of RBC, so he's got a good Sunday round coming into it, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I definitely like them. I didn't actively fade this range. The way I set up all my lineups, my core was 10K, then two guys in the 8K and then a 9K. So I had to go two guys in the 6K, kind of like a stars and scrubs action.
Yeah.
But I do like that team in the 7K range, and there's a few other teams that I'll touch on when we get there. But I like that team, and obviously Maverick's one of the better players in the world. He's trending up and up and up week by week. He'll get a win soon. Bramlett can make a ton of birdies too, so I do like that team.
Yeah, Bramlett, I even remember last year through the summer, was just a tee to green monster, approach monster. Yeah. It was just the putter would let him down every single week, which would almost lead to missed cuts. Like, he was missing some cuts where he was gaining on approach just because of his putter. And right. I mean, I'm not going to weigh that too much into it. When you get Maverick McNeely at $7,700 with a partner, I'm willing to roll the dice there.
What's really your thoughts on the chalk 7K team of the week, Merritt and Streb, which I don't really get, but like everyone seems to be playing them.
I don't get it at all, and it's not like you're really getting a discount.
No, like that's like Streb is not near 8K golfer, and I know he's popping a little bit. I did bet him in this event last year. I think he was with Brendan Todd, and like I bet them outright. Wasn't even close, but I don't know why everyone's on him. I know like Troy Merritt has those weeks where he like makes a million birdies, but I don't think they should be as popular as they like are. And like, what have we seen with these like crazy chalky guys the last few weeks? I mean, Chris Kirk at Valero, maybe he paid off like a 20th place finish, and there was someone else Hadwin 2 weeks ago. He didn't pay off for how owned he was, but he did okay. But like, so maybe these guys will just do okay, but I don't get the love like that we're seeing.
Do they have history together? It looks like last year they missed the cut. T22.
Was Merritt with Todd last year? I think it was Merritt and Todd.
They said Merritt and Streb. I could be wrong.
Who was with? I think I bet these guys last year. Then that's what I was saying. I think I bet these two as a team.
Todd was with Kirk last year.
Okay, I bet Todd and Kirk, and then Merritt and Streb too. Don't know why. But
2019, T22, and then played with Brendan DeYoung and finished T10. So I guess it's a Merritt thing. Streb popped a little last week.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, be my guest. I won't be joining you if you do that.
Now, one team in the sevens that I haven't decided on yet is Sibes and Schwarzel, just based off of the success that Schwarzel's had at this event.
With Louis, right. If this was at like difficult conditions, if this was at Torrey Pines, if this was at Augusta National, if this was an even par contest, I would be like, that team is going to win. But I don't think these guys are going 22 under as a team. Right. But like, like Sibes is king of shooting even par and performing well at tough tracks.
Right.
But like, and Charles Schwarzel, he's popping a little bit now. He's kind of found something because he was like beyond lost before the Masters, like beyond lost. And I don't know, he's got a South African friend. Maybe that'll up the vibes. He almost won here in the past, so. But I just think I don't think these two as a team, like Louis is a different guy than Sibes. Louis can roll some putts, and Sibes doesn't hit any irons close. He's like Cameron Tringale, hits a lot of fairways and greens, but with zero proximity and just two putts everything. That's why he does great at these difficult tracks. I don't think these guys are getting really deep and will even be in contention at all.
You actually just made my mind up, and I looked at season birdie rates. They're both in the bottom 20 in the field.
Yeah, like Bez is at the top of the leaderboard like a lot, but he just doesn't make birdies.
Maybe they'll do well in the alternate shot and just like go 1, 2, 3 under, and that pushes them in. But I mean, if you're shooting like
that's what we saw from Schwarzel at the Masters, shot 3 under and was in the final group on Saturday. Like it's nothing crazy. Like these guys don't score, but they like perform well in difficult conditions. Them, Mito, Cameron Tringale. That's why I love them in like difficult conditions.
You have to score on Thursday and you have to score on Saturday. And if you can't do that, you're not going to make up shots.
They're definitely capable of doing it. If they have one round, if they have a round on with one of them gets a hot putter, which like sure, and then they'll be definitely in the mix if they can do that. But I'm not banking on that. Like I just don't think that this is their thing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Moving down a little bit. Who else are you on? You said you had a couple guys lower sevens.
Hoagie Barhone kind of caught my eye just on the price, but I know Hoagie's a little bit losing it, but the price is really good. These two guys can hit the hell out of a golf ball, maybe lose a little bit on the greens, but I think that is a very solid team for the price. I saw Harry Higgs and Smotherman are pretty popular. They both went to SMU together, but besides that, Austin Smotherman is chalk every single time he plays an alternate event, because he had one good finish at Pebble Beach, and he's chalk every time, and it's kind of weird. He's missed his cuts, and then Harry Higgs performs well in difficult conditions. Kiowa, the Masters, no, I'm out on them. Joel Damon and Steven Yeager, that team can make birdies and also make bogeys, but I like them in this format. I think they can make a lot of birdies together.
Yeah, I think Higgs and Smotherman are pretty interesting together. I like Lipsky and Rye at 7,400. Wish they were a bit more affordable, but I do like the spot they're in. Two guys who are quote-unquote rookies on the PGA Tour. They both had a pretty popular name on the European Tour for years. Well-known guys who would play a PGA Tour event every now and then, finally rookies. But we've seen a little bit of upside. Rye carried a pretty steady fall. I think he had back-to-back top 20s. Into the start of 2022, he had a 6th place at the Farmers. Lipsky had a 7th a couple weeks ago at Corrales. So I like these two guys together. I do like their upside. $7,400 seems like a pretty fair price, and I feel comfortable with both guys' games.
Yeah, they're going to put on a ball striking clinic. They both really, really hit the ball great on approach specifically. Maybe struggling. Rye's not the greatest putter. Lipsky has those days where he'll just shoot like a 62 out of nowhere. You're like, whoa. But yeah, I do think they are a good team together. I'm happy with that team. But besides them, no one really else catches my eye. Doc Redman catches my eye always, but he's just like.
I just looked at him when you said him. That means I'm going to play him now.
Yeah, and then Hayden Buckley and Alex Smalley, they are very motivated, but so is everyone. And they are awesome tee to green. But besides that, I played him in like a 1 or 2 lineups as pivots.
Yeah, Buckley and Smalley were 2 of my top 4 highest ranked rookies heading into the year from a season long perspective. Mm-hmm. Other 2, I think I like Penrith and Rye up there when it comes to rookies. But like you said, 2 young guys, both have a lot of upside, both have a lot to play for. I mean, they're fighting for their PGA Tour cards still. If they come out with a win or whatnot, there it is. It's as easy as that, just like you said with Cam Smith. But yeah, 2 guys, teams that are solid from top to bottom. I would put Buckley and Smalley into that category.
Okay, worst team in this range. RCB and Griot. Hey, the worst team in this range.
Come on.
Who's the worst team? Okay, who's the worst team?
I was gonna say
Hoffman and Watney.
I was gonna say Wallace and Horsfield.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But
I
oh,
just
never
hate
mind.
Griot so much. So I know RCB is like doing really well in Europe, but
I used
uh,
to like
I
Rio a
used to like Griot
ton.
too.
Like when he was a rookie, second year, even last year a little bit. He showed some glimmers of hope, but I don't know.
No, he's
I
just
tried to
lost.
talk myself into them.
He's lost his approach game, which is his only game. And the reason I hate Griot is because like 4 weeks into this season, starting at like Fortinet, like the swing season, 4 weeks into the season, I bet him. He was on my betting card 3 separate times. And I was like, what am I doing with my life betting Griot this much? Like, and then I was like, he's done forever. So no to Griot and RCB. If you were wondering, which you definitely weren't.
I'm curious now how Horsfield got into this event. It had to have been Matt Wallace, obviously, but
Um,
I wondered if it was because
last
Horsfield
time
hasn't played since
in Saudi with
January.
Zurich. He
Right.
played at Saudi. I know and he had a good
Yeah.
rank.
Then he withdrew from that. Before that, T4 at Dubai and T12 at Abu Dhabi. So I wanted to say the form isn't there. 100
Good old Sam
fourth.
Horsel. Is
Maybe
he
that's not
injured?
the worst team. He had to
They're
have withdrawn
sneaky.
from Saudi for an injury. I'm not going to look that up, but if I had to guess, I don't follow PGA Tour injuries, let alone DP World Tour injuries reports. But if I had to guess,
What are your thoughts on Jason Day and the Scriv Daddy? Like, why are they playing together?
I don't know. Scrivener played in this last year or no? No.
Jason Scrivener like popped up on my in my names twice in like some like random putting statistic. I was like, what? This is what we're doing now. We're looking at Jason Scrivener stats.
I know Scrivener made his way up there a little bit and like in terms of like top 200 in the world at some point. Oh yeah, he was top 100 actually. 2021. Yeah, I don't know why Day is playing with him.
Yeah, what I mean, if someone's putting for Jason Day right now, maybe, but like, their ownership will be 1% at most. Has to be.
Has he ever played in this, Scrivener?
I
There's
don't
no way,
know.
right?
I don't even want to know. Do I want to know? Let me look.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I doubt it. I don't see anything either.
I'm not touching them at this price. They're definitely not the worst in this range. Maybe we'll have to have a side bet of Grillo and RCB versus Horsfield and Wallace.
I'm down for $20, $50.
All right, deal.
Deal.
$20, best finish.
$20.
This is gonna be a sweat.
Okay.
7Ks. You got anything else?
No, let's move to the 6K.
Schwab and Gim, my
They'll
season-long
ball.
guys pairing up.
They'll ball strike it. They'll
I'm
ball strike
clearly
it.
gonna have exposure to that.
You'll be pissed when they both miss 6-footers.
I know.
They
I
both
fully
miss it.
expect that.
Yeah.
Heading into the sixes, this is a range that I really don't want to get too deep into. I know, I mean, if you're looking at doing a stars and scrubs, I don't love it. I know I've seen it on Twitter as like a strategy or whatnot, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've looked at the 6Ks. I've looked at 61, 62. I mean, you can like half talk yourself into one of the guys and you look at their partner and it's like Chad Ramey, for example. I looked at him. I was like, wow, he's rating out really well. Win at Corrales a month ago, 7th in birdie or better over the past 12 months. And then look up Josh Creel because he was on my season long rankings, still unowned. If there's one positive I could take from Creel's game, it's his putter. He's gained on 5 of his 7 measured PGA Tour events. But for a rookie who should be taking full advantage of their membership, Creel just isn't playing all that much.
Yeah, I don't think that is the team you should be going to in that range. I definitely like. Well, you said Ramey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Ramey's playing. Yeah, he's playing good. I had him in. I have Ramey in one of my lineups as a pivot, but I really like this Sung Kang and John Hutt team. Sung Kang makes so many birdies; it's actually insane. But then he'll make just as many bogeys, like on the back nine.
That's what you want.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you have a partner like who can maybe limit those bogeys and will maybe make the par when you're making a triple, that's awesome. And I just love the volatility with Sung Kang. Like, I can't tell you how many times I look at the PGA Tour app in the morning and Sung Kang's 4 under through 4, and he'll finish like +3. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So I just love the volatility and how many birdies he can make. He was high in birdie average and last season. He's not making as many this season, and I think it's just because he hasn't played as many events so far. But I just love Sung Kang's ability to make birdies. He fires at flags like it's his job. So Sung Kang is my guy in this range. He's in my core lineup, and Jim Herman is also in my range. I just like how he's playing with Vaughn Taylor, and I think those two guys are like safer golfers, to be honest. I think like at $6,400, I could be in a lot of worse places with Jim Herman. Jim Herman made the cut last week at RBC. Bad finish though, but him and Vaughn Taylor. I know Vaughn Taylor last summer was like making cuts at a crazy rate, and I just love how these two guys' game work out. I think they're like similar to Homa and Gooch. They both have decent complete games. I know it's not at that level, but they have decent complete games.
I don't know if I can go back to Herman. Saturday morning, one of my buddies and me were at the sports book, and he asked for a matchup. I was like, Herman's going to beat Bill Haas. No. And it actually got close. They weren't in the same group, but ruined one of my parlays, ruined his single matchup. So it's like Herman's going to have to do a lot for me over the next couple weeks here for me to earn his trust back. But
yeah, hopefully he helps me out this week. Or at least you got Orioles money line that night.
I know that whole baseball thread was unreal.
Yeah, that was funny.
I looked up the Orioles record and I was like, yeah, all right, let's go. Alpha Barnrat and Kitayama, I like a decent amount. Last 12 rounds, they both rank inside the field's top 35 in birdie or better percentage. It's what I'm looking for. Two guys in pretty good form. Kitayama popped at, I forget the event, but
Honda.
Yes.
I don't know how
and then faded away.
He was there like on Sunday through like I was at that event. He was there with like Sunday through like 7 holes. What he did on approach that week was like actually special because he hasn't done anywhere close to that.
No.
Like, yeah, and like I don't know where it came from. He just crushed the irons that week.
And putting. Gained over 5 strokes on the field. Just if he can do that and put it together. I think Alpha Barnrat's made 3 straight cuts on tour. So I do like those guys.
That's a good first round leader team. That's a good first round leader team.
It is.
Affy Barnrat gets out quick a lot.
Herbert and Atwell, I don't know how they're 6,700. I don't mind Chappell and James Hahn. Wish they were a little bit more affordable. But
what's their price?
67.
Yeah, I can't go there because I don't know why I like Sung Kang so much, but I'm going with it.
Bremen Hubbard. Hubbard's still playing on conditional status, but
Ryan Bremen is bad. Don't
he is. I don't know how he won that.
I don't know. And I was looking at because I'm in Maryland, so I'm not on any legal books. After he won that, I was looking for every single matchup against him at the Players and like in the next few events. I couldn't find any, but he hasn't like broken par like since he won. Like I'm not really, but he's like finishes every event like plus 12. Like it's horrible. I always
scroll to the very bottom and Brem's there he is staring me in the face.
I don't know how he won that event.
Because it's not like they're alternate events, but they're not weak fields by any means.
Right, like it's all guys who are young and hungry and like that can go very low and win Corn Ferry events. Like
it's the same thing as when Martin Traynor won Puerto Rico. I think it was Puerto Rico. I could be wrong. But when Martin Traynor got his win at an alternate event field, he missed like 35 cuts in a row, I think in 2020 or 2021. Still not good by any means, but it's like, how do these guys win?
1 week. It's life-changing for these guys. Like
so much money.
1 week. Like it's like they probably never thought they could do it. And like, they don't know how they did it, but like they did it, got their money. And now they have that tour status for X amount of years. And just that
2
alone,
years,
like
2 years, even if you make 10 cuts each year, you're
paying
fine.
You're
sure. Fine.
So good for Ryan Brehm, but don't play him this week.
No. Scrolling down further, I don't see a whole lot that I like. I was trying to talk myself into Justin Lauer and Dylan Wu. Talked myself out of that pretty quick, but if I need to get down to 63, that's probably where I would go. I saw Carp in the comments earlier. Since we got down to the 6K range, he mentioned something about Jay Haas playing with Bill Haas. So you get a 70-year-old golfer. He said, I seriously want to see the Haas combo, including a 70-year-old, make the top 10 just to freak people out.
You can get over like a you can get like 100-1 for them to T5 or T10. Like,
Yeah, if they make the cut, I think that's a hell of a week for them too.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
Kind of cool they're playing together, but
yeah. They played in the same group, I think, at an alternate event like 2 years ago, and like they I think they both did make the cut as like individuals, or maybe it was someone else. I don't remember.
I wonder if we
But
can find a Haas combo to make the cut. I doubt anyone's offering that because no one wants to
yeah,
lay that in this event, but that would be interesting.
that
But
would be interesting.
outside of that, Matt,
Nothing else.
I'm
Outside of
not
that,
getting down in this range. I
yeah,
really don't want to.
I think, yeah. I went stars and scrubs, so I had to, but it's not pretty, and I'm hoping for like a ceiling performance. So we'll see. But
So let's
before we head out, I
yes.
want this is long overdue.
Yes.
What do you think I'm going to say?
MGK.
Yes, give me your top three. Give me your top three.
Okay. I'm going to say in order, but I think these three can be shuffled around. So I'm going to go Sid and Nancy, number 1. That thing grew on me. A is 2. My number 3 has to be Die in California.
That's going to be my number 1.
What are your next 2?
I would go Die in California, number 1. Number 2, honestly, maybe. The song Maybe.
All right.
I know it's been out. And then 3, actually 2, Fake Love Don't Last, and then with Ian Dior, and then third one Maybe. That's my top 3, I think.
I can't complain with that at all. Doing rankings for that type of stuff is very hard for me, especially when I like a majority of them. But yeah, I meant to do that like each of the past 2-3 weeks. We really dropped the ball. That was supposed to be on the I think we were talking about that in the Discord,
First
the
show.
opening, the first show, and we just it didn't happen. So all right, let's do favorite teams. We'll go 1. Well, we'll do 2 per range. Top 2. Mine is Morikawa Hoblin, number 1, and Burns Horschel 2 in the 10Ks.
All right, Burns Horschel 1. Then I'll go Cam and Mark to repeat.
Okay. Second one, Neiman Pereira 1, Team Chile 2. I was gonna say Lowry Poulter, but you talked me into Gooch and Homa. I really like where Gooch and Homa are at.
Okay, Homa Gooch 1 for me, Lowry Poulter 2 for me.
All right, the 8Ks, I'm going to go Ben An and Sung Jae Im as my number 1. And 2, no, sorry, Rose and Stenson 1. And then On and Im 2.
Talk me into them. Hope they do good. All right, my 1 is going to be Hatton and Willett, and then 2 is Zal and Riley, both at the top. But I like Hatton and Willett a little bit more.
7Ks. Don't love this range by any means, but Lipsky and Rye are going to be my 1. And I think I'm just going to go Buckley and Smalley as my 2, just based off of price.
Okay, I'm going to go. Buckley and Smalley are also going to be my number 2, but my number 1 is going to be. We'll go Keith and Brandt because they have opposite games, and hopefully that could just make them perform well. They have like total opposite.
Yeah, I don't mind them too. That's a weird one that we didn't talk about in that range. They could definitely go.
Keith bombing it, Brandt hitting some wedges. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So rounded out with the 6Ks, which is absolutely disgusting. But Kiradek, Alpha Barnrat, and Kurt Kitayama are my number 1. 2's not looking good, but I'm gonna go. I'm going to go Creel and Ramy just based off of Ramy's upside. If Creel can drop a couple putts, we're good.
It's funny because usually the 6K range is like ugly to begin with. Now you have to pick 2 golfers as one price. So it's even uglier. So I'm going to go with my number 1. Sung Kang is going to make 12 birdies in round 1, and they'll somehow shoot like 7 under.
First round leader.
Sung Kang, and then the second one will be Herminator and his Vaughn Taylor.
Fair enough. All right,
I'm going to bet those 2 first round leaders. Who did we say? We said Sung Kang and then Kiradek. It was Kiradek.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet those 2.
Have to, especially at those odds that we're going to get. Yeah, it's probably going to be Victor and Morikawa going like shooting a 59 anyways. But
maybe.
Either way, Thanks for joining us, everyone. The final points. If you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter at DomCinto_11, at Matt_Gannon_. Feel free to hit us up in the Discord if you're a premium member. Go get the subscriptions. A couple weeks in, almost a month now. So get on it. Monthly, 3-month, yearly, whatever you want to do. Get in on the action, and good luck, everyone, this week. We'll see you next week.